Emotional management. Overcoming perfectionism, Maria was a successful professional woman, someone who had achieved a lot in life. Since childhood, she had been taught that in order to succeed, you had to work hard, be flawless, and never leave anything to chance. Perfectionism was something that always followed her, from her school years to her career. Her need to be perfect in everything led her to excessive effort, and even the smallest failure would make her feel disappointed and inadequate. Maria always had high expectations of herself. Although her work was going incredibly well and her colleagues respected her, she could never accept the idea of imperfection. If she wrote a report and there was even the smallest mistake, she felt she didn't deserve the success she had achieved. As a result of this behavior, she often felt exhausted and isolated from others. One afternoon, after a day full of anxieties and doubts, Maria decided to seek help. She felt that the pressure to always be perfect had drained her and didn't know how to change this situation. So, she reached out to a mental health counselor, George, who had been recommended as someone who could help people manage these kinds of challenges. George welcomed her with warmth and care. "Perfectionism is something that affects many people, Maria," he said. "It usually stems from the need for control and the rejection of the unknown or the imperfect. But life is not black and white. True happiness and balance come when we understand that we can live and grow, even with our imperfections." Maria felt relieved hearing these words. George continued to explain that perfectionism could lead to anxiety, emotional exhaustion, and disappointment. It is common for people to face this when they exaggerate their expectations to please others or themselves, but forget the human need for self-esteem and self-forgiveness. George suggested a few strategies for Maria to begin working on her perfectionism. First, he guided her to accept the idea that perfection is unattainable, and that people deserve respect and acceptance even if they don't do everything perfectly. He also suggested that she find ways to deal with her thoughts when perfectionism overwhelms her, such as practicing meditation or breathing techniques to calm her mind, and accept imperfections as a natural part of life. Over time, Maria started to see the results. Instead of focusing solely on her failures, she began to recognize her positive traits and achievements without expecting perfection in everything. Her life became emotionally stronger, and her relationships with others became more genuine and fulfilling. Maria learned that happiness is not linked to perfection. True happiness comes from accepting ourselves and the inner peace we gain when we let go of the need for perfect control and accept the natural course of things. Moral of the story: perfectionism can limit us and keep us away from true happiness. The key to well-being is to accept imperfections and learn to love and respect ourselves for who we are, not for how things appear on the outside.